Okay. WandaVision? WandaVision was crazy. Where do I even begin? Where do I even start with this show? It was completely crazy from start to beginning, right? Just a complete mind just bender, right? The whole direction and presentation of the show was awesome. I love the way they did it. The entire premise with the town and the sort of the view that you get of the characters from the beginning, because it's very directed, right? They sort of pick and choose what you get to see and what you don't get to see, and that's because it's being filtered through sort of Wanda's reality, and I think that's very cool. And especially towards the beginning of the series, that had all of us, I mean, I know it had me just theorizing and thinking like, what the heck, what are they doing, right? Trying to figure out what was going on. And I think that was a really awesome and interactive way to enjoy the show, and just a really cool way to jump into the medium of sort of television and serialization for the very first time in the MCU. I thought that was super dope. A highlight of the series for me was definitely Evan Peters' Peter Pietro / Ralph Boner. Hilarious, like great character. I thought it was a really big sort of like twist when they brought him back, because you're thinking, oh man, what are they doing? Is he because you know Multiverse of Madness is coming up, and you're thinking, is he the real Quicksilver? He's not. He's just Ralph. He's just some guy who was there. But I think it's very cool the way that they play with your expectations that way. I was a little disappointed because obviously, I mean, Evan Peters' Quicksilver was one of like the saving graces of those last few X-Men movies, and so having him come back would be cool, but it also makes sense that he doesn't, because the show is about grief and processing loss, and if Wanda's brother just kind of came back, it would sort of cancel out that. So I understand what they were doing there, but it was very cool, and Ralph Boner kind of seems like a nickname that Quicksilver would come up with, so I liked that. Another thing that I loved about this show was Monica. God, I loved Monica Rambeau. She was great. She was just, I mean, charismatic. She dominated the screen, but I felt with her. You know what I mean? She was saying things that I was thinking, and her moment where she wakes up and she realizes that her mom is gone is just, I mean, oh, it got me. It got me good. I'm really, really excited to see what she can do in the future. I'm excited to see her go work with Fury. I like her superpowers. I'm just really excited for her. Monica's great. One of my favorite characters of the new age of the MCU so far, honestly. I do think that after the dark direction that they've shown us with this back half of the series, that they can kind of get away with Mephisto. Now, I know we've been talking about Mephisto ever since the beginning of the show started, right? Because of how many comic arcs that the show is based off of kind of feature him, and how prominently the character is intertwined with the twins, who are pretty good in this show, by the way. And I think they can do it. They can, I mean, maybe not like as hard as they go in the comics, you know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna have the kids on his hands like oven mitts or anything, but I do think they can bring him to the show as like a demonic, scary, creepy character, especially because they've got like the Darkhold and the freaky dark magic stuff going on. If Doctor Strange is supposed to be a horror movie, I think they could do it. At the end of the series, when she's out like in the mountains by herself, I really expected her family to be there, because like she's out in this wide open space, and she like has all this room. Like she could expand her little reality into just that area. She wouldn't really be bothering anybody, but instead she's actually reading this magical tome that she received from Agatha at the end of the series, and she hears her kids calling for her help, and I'm like, oh shit, what is going on? Obviously it's Mephisto confirmed. It's Mephisto. I think it's Mephisto. It might be Nightmare or some other, it could be something completely different, and maybe we're all just getting thrown off the scent, but it's Mephisto. At the end of the day, the show was a really, really cool lens into Wanda and Vision, but especially Wanda, and it really made me see the character in a different light, and honestly made her one of my favorite characters in the MCU just because of how much more depth it gave her. It really just plunged into her backstory and took you along the ride with her, so you could be in her shoes and sort of see where she was coming from. And that outfit, dude, what a way to end the season. That outfit is awesome. That outfit is so dope, with the boots and the gloves, the tiara, when it came out and it was made of magic, I lost my mind. It was so good. It was so cool. I can't wait for more Wanda. It was great. Now that, of course, brings us to the next chapter of the MCU, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. First of all, I'm super hyped for the show. It's premiering the same month as WandaVision's finale, which is awesome. That kind of energy and momentum almost makes up for the fact that Black Widow still hasn't come out. Just release the damn movie. Just put it on Disney Plus. I want to watch it. It should have come out last year. But anyway, the premise of the show is great. Captain America's gone, the world is in turmoil after the whole thing with the Infinity Stones, and the government basically wants a symbol to keep the people rallied, sort of capitalizing on the hope that was created back in 2012. And basically, the show is about who gets to have the shield, right? There's 3 candidates, but really there's only 2 candidates. First, you have, of course, Sam and Bucky, the titular characters. The Starsky and Hutch, the Ramona and Mr. Whiskers, the damn Tom and Jerry of the show. Bucky, as we know, was very close to Steve, the original Cap, starting way back in the 40s. Meanwhile, Sam only met Steve in The Winter Soldier, but he's proven to be a loyal friend and a key member of the Avengers. Personally, you know me, I want Sam to be Cap. I love those wings with the stars and stripes. I mean, I just like Anthony Mackie's swagger. He's your boy, you know? However, we do have a third candidate, and honestly, when I saw this reveal back when the first trailer dropped, I was on the edge of my seat, like, let's go. They're doing U.S. Agent. He's like a scummy, bad, government-funded Captain America. He's got the looks down, very patriotic in appearance. He's even got the super strength and endurance and stuff, all like Cap did, as well as combat training from Taskmaster. We're going to talk about that in a second. But where Steve Rogers fights for what's right, even if it's not in the law, like we've seen him do many times before, John Walker, aka US Agent, is basically following orders and being a bad dude. He's doing Black Ops missions for the more corrupt members of the operation. Looking at you, General Mustache Ross. But we'll get to that in a second. Now, obviously, Bucky's like Steve. Punch bad guys first, worry about the cops later. Sam, on the other hand, leans a little on the roadie side of things, where he doesn't really want to get his nose dirty if he can help it. But with the events of the last 2 movies and Civil War and stuff, they're probably going to be trying to operate as independently as they can. And more than likely, whoever Walker is connected to is going to try to take the shield away from them, which probably ain't going to go down well. Real quick, I just want to mention that I'm really hyped for this take on Flag Smasher. I can see it going in 2 different ways, though. I really hope that they give Erin Kellyman's character some good writing and show her frustration with the way that things are being done as relevant and valid, rather than making her and her crew just masked goons doing bad guy shit for no reason. That's boring. Do something better. I love the actress, and this take on the character is really unique, and so I hope that they do her justice. My biggest hope is that they do something with the Weapon X program. I don't doubt that they'll be setting up a lot of stuff with this show, but I think connecting Wolverine and Cap through that, not to mention Banner as well, and with She-Hulk coming up, he's going to be in that. I think it would be a really awesome and subtle through line to make it feel like the long-awaited arrival of our next cigar-munching metal man is a lot more satisfying. My biggest expectation is that they're going to start setting up the Thunderbolts here. Looking at the military governmental ties that the show has, it only makes sense that we're going to start looking into Ross and his stuff that's going on. We know from the Black Widow trailer that Ross is up to no good, and both he and Taskmaster are members of the Thunderbolts in the comics. By this point, we were supposed to have seen Black Widow already. Release that movie, man. I swear. Who do I gotta talk to? Who has it burned over a copy of P90X? I know somebody do. I want it! But seriously, I think that this will recontextualize some scenes in the show and have it set up so that it'll be more paid off in Black Widow rather than vice versa. And I think that's going to lead into Red Hulk with Thaddeus getting into the formation of the team. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, Zemo is, of course, a very important character in the show. He's coming back from Civil War, and Zemo is also a key member of the Thunderbolts. So that's only more proof that they're going to start leaning into that storyline. He's probably going to be like the leader or the strategist of the team, and I think that's really cool because when we're getting the Thunderbolts, we're getting a dynamic that's actually really new to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's, in a way, sort of like the reverse Avengers, right? Because slowly, bit by bit, we're getting this team of bad guys coming together, and I think it's just going to be really, really cool when it all formulates. And I mean, we might even get Deadpool in there. I mean, they got him, you know what I mean? They got the rights, so who's to say that Feige won't throw Deadpool in there? That'd be really, really cool. Anyway, that's enough from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you're hyped for the MCU finally being back, do me the greatest favor of dropping a like on the video. Maybe subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more content like this in the future, and it only takes a couple of seconds, and it really just helps me out tremendously. So once again, thanks for coming out and supporting the content and enjoying the stuff that I'm doing here. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.